everybody, it's Audrey, and where's Avery? But I am back with another video. So Avery was actually sleeping when I left, so I let her sleep just for a little bit longer, and then I'll grab her before we head out for the day. But just wanted to hop on and chat for a bit, because one of the things I was thinking, and it's, I always do this, always do this when it comes to starting something, right? Sometimes when I start something, I get super nervous. Like, oh, what if it doesn't work? What if, just all the what ifs, all of them, right? And I started to do it even when it came to this YouTube channel, and just kind of the next steps and next phases, and kind of the way that I feel pulled and led to do things in this next season. And I hesitated. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. And the other side of it is, how to even start. So the first few videos and that started this whole channel, it really did come out of loss, right? It came out of a client of ours terminating an agreement, and that's not the bright side of things, right? It's not the happy side of things. And I had some reservations because I'm like, nobody wants to start anything, dealing with loss. And I was trying to think of a way to make it more marketable, and I was trying to think of a way to make it more just where it seems more presentable to people, I guess. And I was in prayer this morning and really thinking about that thing, and something that fell real heavy on my spirit is the Lord said to me, why would you ask for my help and then not take it? I said, what? Why would you ask for my help and not take it? You asked me, Lord, what do I do? You came to me. Lord, this is what I need. And as I provide you with the answer, as I provide you with the response, why would you come to me and not be obedient? Why come to me and not trust that where I'm taking you is just the place where you need to be? And I guess I never thought about it like that. I never thought about it like that, because there's so many instances and so many ways, even that I can think back, where it's like God put something on my spirit to do, and I tweaked it a little bit to make it more comfortable for me. I tweaked it a little bit to make it feel like it fit a little bit better than what it did. But what I gotta understand is that when God sends me out, when he sends me to do something, regardless of what that result is, I'm not responsible for the result. I'm responsible for the obedience. And man, that thing hit me. It hit me hard, because then I began to think about all the things and little areas, because I consider myself, right? I consider myself to be obedient. I consider myself to love the Lord. I consider myself to be his daughter. But man, when I think back on even just the small things that maybe I could have actually done, that I could have been obedient with, it makes me think a little different. It makes me think a little bit different. So, at that point, what do you say? But put your hands up. What do you say? But do what he's actually told you to do. So for anybody else that's wondering why start off with loss, that doesn't make any sense. Why start off with termination? You're supposed to be getting contracts. You're supposed to be letting people know about all the great things that you're doing. You're supposed to be, you're losing your superwoman status. You're losing a sense of power when you show people those moments. And I don't have any other response to you besides I got to be obedient. I have to be obedient. So this season of my life, this phase, this portion of it did start with loss. And sometimes, I don't know why that is. I don't know why we're wired that way, why I'm wired that way. Sometimes you don't wake up until you get out of until something shakes you, until you have something happen that forces you to get out of your comfort zone, that forces you to get out of your normal, that forces you to get out of your regular. So like for me, especially with this contract, still love the investor, love the investor, love being able to provide them service, exactly what I asked God for, like all these things. And I'm just like, yes, Lord, yes. But I also became comfortable. I became comfortable with the fact that I had this investor. I became comfortable with the fact that not a sense of entitlement at all. I don't find myself to be a prideful person or entitled person. But if I were to look at my actions, I would have to say it had a little dash, right, of entitlement, as if I deserved this investor, as I deserved this. And I could also say that the way I acted in day one is very different than the way that I act now when it comes to clients, when it comes to customers. And that was the other thing that I really do feel God brought to mind for me. Every day, as I am building this business, as we are coming together, as we're doing this, as we're tracking with legacy, right? And really going after everything that God has for me, has for us, has for my family. Every single day is day one. Every day is day one. Right? And when I was thinking about that, again, something else that hit me hard, right? Every single day has to be like day one. What do I mean by that? Even thinking about, say, for instance, like think about your walk with Christ, right? You first come to learn about him. And people cannot pay you to shut up. People cannot pay you to not read your word. People cannot pay you to not go up to a stranger and say, you know what, God is good. All right. There's just a fire. There's an extra level of oomph. There's an extra level of, God, I didn't deserve this, but you did it anyway. God, I don't deserve you, but you did it anyway. There's an extra level of that in there. There's an extra bit of that in your daily recipe, in my daily recipe, my daily walk. There's always been an extra bit of that. And somewhere along the line, as time continues to pass, for some reason, that realization, that initial realization of, man, I didn't deserve this, but you did it anyway. God, I'm so grateful. All of that, it seems to fade. It just seems to fade. And even like just thinking about even my walk, it just seems to fade. Not that I love him any less. I love him, but I think it becomes easier to forget where you started. I think it becomes easier to forget just how wretched you were, right? I feel like I treated this business, this baby, this thing that God gave me, right? This thing that God birthed for me. I feel like I treated it the same way. First coming in, excited, fervent, like you couldn't tell me anybody. You could be talking about the blue sky that you see behind me, and I'm gonna, hey, do you need management services? This is what, you couldn't pay me to sit on it. You couldn't pay me to not make moves with it, because I was so incredibly grateful, so incredibly thankful that God did something like this for me. And if I were honest, I can't say that I had been the same. I can't say I had been the same. I allowed the day-to-day of the business to make me a little jaded, right? Where I get complaints, from people, or, the landlord has a right to do something as the landlord, and the tenant decides that they should be doing something different. And I'm in the middle, right? Of all of that. And sometimes just the back and forth, I became forgetful. I had, there's nothing much left to say, but this morning I came to a point where I had to say, Lord, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not being a great steward over what you've given me. There's a level of, and again, it's not the most comfortable place to start, but there's a level of accountability that's required. There's a level of accountability that is required with the blessing, with the favor. There's a level of accountability. So I just had to come to, I'm at a place this morning where Lord, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not being a great steward of what you've given me. I'm sorry for forgetting the move of your hand. I'm sorry for sitting on the gifts that you've given me. I'm sorry for burying them instead of using them. I'm sorry for all the times and the moments that I have not been obedient, not just in the big things, but God, also in the small things. God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for half doing anything that you've brought my hands to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not remembering that every day is the first day. Every day is the first day. Every day is another opportunity for greatness. And every day is another opportunity that I did not deserve. God, I'm sorry. So anywho, that's how I'm starting off today. And I'm going back to the first day, going back to the beginning. So here we go.